Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art that has gained global popularity for its effectiveness in self-defense and its competitive appeal.
He nearly has heel exposure here. Now he does. He's got heel exposure.
And Gordon Ryan just submitted Nick Rodriguez and has become a three-time.
It began with the Gracie family challenging other martial arts to combat to see which art was most effective. Turned out that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a badass martial art and destroyed the others by gym storming.
Once the Gracie representative establishes his position on top, his opponent is convinced that further resistance will be futile and immediately surrenders.
Later, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would solidify itself by winning the first 3 Ultimate Fighters.
The number 10 ranked IBF light heavyweight in the world.
Think about taking that thing off right now.
Take a break and take it off.
That's amazing. It doesn't take much. It is just a frightening experience.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu then transformed from the garage art into a dynamic and captivating sport that emphasizes technique, leverage, and strategy over size and strength. Its true beauty lies in the intricate movements and the mental chess game it entails to stay ahead of your competition. Just like any ecosystem that is at its inception, there will be someone that comes into it and creates something new within it. Something that elevates it forward. May that be Eddie Bravo with the rubber guard system, John Danaher with his leg lock system, Lucas Sachs with his closed guard system. That's a great system. Buy the DVD, link in the description. Oh look, that's me. Would you look at that? Yay! Or a development from within Jiu-Jitsu tradition, like American wrestler Bob Anderson and the Americana. It's difficult to mention the Kimura lock without also including the Americana. The two techniques have many similarities and work off a similar finger foregrip setup. The name Americana is often attributed to a story which Holmes Gracie was taught this technique by the famous American wrestler Bob Anderson, and Holmes subsequently named the submission the Americana in his honor.
That's just what they decided to call it.
The Americana then became a staple position in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it stayed called the Americana. Holmes didn't hide anything or steal it and name it the Braziliana. No, he honored the founder of the submission. And here's where we get to the dead orchard.
Shh, the movie's starting.
First of all, I'm not here to destroy anyone's career or upset the 10th planet gods. I'm here for one thing and one thing only. The truth.
You snotty little bastard.
The truth is that the dead orchard has been stolen. And as much of a great guy and a jiu-jitsu purist that Nathan Orchard may be, he stole the move that set up his entire career. And just like Carlos Mencia stole jokes from comedians and then Joe Rogan came and called him out on it, I'm not going to compare myself to Joe Rogan. That would be silly. I'm just going to lay out some facts. Nathan Orchard has done a 5-finger discount on the dead orchard.
Great, now none of us can watch TV. That's my TV! No crap, that's why I'm freaking stealing it.
By the end of this video, you will hear from the actual person who did it first. You will understand why it validates him as the person who initially did it and leave wondering, what is life? Submit the subscribe button, triangle the like button, and let me know in the comments if you agree. I'm open to hearing more. First of all, what is the dead orchard? The dead orchard is a submission in which you trap your opponent's arms inside a triangle and take one of those arms home with you. How is it done? You begin by breaking the posture of your opponent from closed guard. You then put your feet at their hips to bring their elbows to a 90-degree angle from their body. This makes their shoulders weak. You then swing your leg up and catch it with one hand. Once this is secure, you reach for their tricep, and with your other leg, you close the triangle. As you can see, my triangle locking is very bad here, but you can try this at home. However, You are now in a dead orchard position. For the fatality, you go ahead and take the arm.
Fatality.
This is a super effective submission, so effective that Nathan Orchard made an entire career using it. But did he create it? Well, this is where things get tricky. Nathan Orchard's first dated jiu-jitsu match was on the 3rd of December 2014 against Dara O'Connell at the Pan Jiu-Jitsu IBJJF competition, in which he received a draw. Meanwhile, in 2001, 13 years before Nathan Orchard had even begun competing in jiu-jitsu, Aussie Elvis Sinisic made his UFC debut against the #1 contender Jeremy Horn. Elvis won the match via the dead orchard submission. Years later, John Danaher, one of the most renowned jiu-jitsu coaches in the world, and someone I was personally with discussing this a few weeks back, named the position the dead Elvis.
He's got it working. Let's see it in the flash. Let's see what happens here. There's the tap. There's the tap. The point back fighter, Elvis Sinisic, victorious.
The dead Elvis was the position that won the fight for the first ever Australian fighter to win in the UFC and get a title shot. The dead Elvis wasn't done in some basement or at some seminar that Nathan Orchard attended. This was done in front of a sold-out crowd in one of the biggest organizations today. I sat down with Elvis. Here's what he had to say.
I'm sure people that have heard of the dead orchard. So
yes.
It's kind of the triangle double armbar, which is what I did with Jeremy Horn.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Danaher was telling me a story where he was teaching the move to someone. And one of this 10th planet person came up and goes, oh, you are starting 10th planet jiu-jitsu because you're teaching the dead orchard. And he goes, no, I'm not. I'm teaching the dead Elvis. Nathan Orchard didn't come up with the event. Elvis Sinisic did. He did it in the UFC back in UFC 30 because, you know, he's an encyclopedia and he knew it. He knew because obviously he comes from New Zealand. His mother was in Australia. So he was aware of, he goes, you need to go and learn your jiu-jitsu and MMA history. And the guy was a little bit shocked and ran off. And he told me the story and I'm like, cool. So I'm going to... Whenever my students do, I go, you got to call it the dead Elvis. You know?
Well, there you go. From now on, it is no longer the dead orchard. It is the dead Elvis. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. I'm trying to hit 10K. Help me get there. Puss.